Guuzaka Tube here, and as you can tell from the title of this video, I am going to have a lengthy discussion about the things that are ruining Asphalt 9 Legends for me. Gameloft, prepare your anus because you are in for a painful session. This list is not necessarily in order, so here we go! Number 1. Lottery speed corruption. Gameloft is not supposed to be getting away with frequently nerfing products that people spend real money on. Remember what happened when Apple slowed down the iPhone 6, 6S, SE, and 7 back in 2017? Oh, and let us not forget to mention Samsung, who was also exposed by the Italians for doing a similar practice. How well did it go for them? Horribly. Everyone was absolutely disgusted when they figured out that they were slowing down users' older smartphones without their consent. This also resulted in them being fined. Now, while I don't and have never spent a dime on this game, them being a game company does not make it any better. It's still wrong. While the majority of vehicles in Asphalt 9 haven't been touched for the worse yet, a look at what they've recently done to Asphalt 8 could spell critical trouble for this game in the future. Also, loot boxes in Asphalt 9 are illegal in some countries. Why would they encourage people to gamble? I don't know, but it's certainly not a good thing to get people into at all. Number 2. Knockdowns in multiplayer. Dear oh dear, where do I start with this one? So, how many threads, posts, and videos across the internet have been made about this issue? Too many to keep track of. It's clear that the majority wants knockdowns permanently removed, so Gameloft should remove that function in multiplayer. There is nothing interesting, funny, or cute about it. It is cheap, dirty, disgusting, and also darn irritating. Surely this game is called Asphalt 9 Legends, right? A true legend does not become a legend by engaging in low-down, nasty, annoying tactics. Winning should take skill and practice, not just cheaply blowing someone down. When you are running a race, do you tackle the other person down just to come first? Would any competition ever allow that? Nope! Ramming, slamming, bouncing, landing on top of, or 360ing is getting really old and tiresome. Oh, and to those of you that think knockdowns are what makes this game interesting, I have something to tell you. Take your stupid knockdown fetish somewhere else. This is Asphalt 9 Legends, not Asphalt 9 Destruction, Death, and Damage. Or, as some people called it, Asphalt 9 Demolition Derby. Now I know what some of you are going to say. Why are you talking about this so harshly when you made some knockdowns in this gameplay footage yourself? It's because it's sometimes just not possible to dodge people in time. Additionally, sometimes someone can just be merely behind and they still get knocked down, all because of the ridiculously rigged knockdown physics. If I could help it, I would never knock people down, except for those that intentionally knock me down. Remove knockdowns from multiplayer promptly. Number 3. Nerfed rewards. It seems like each and every damn update that comes with something Gameloft brings in, something they take away. Why not leave the good alone and focus on fixing the bad? Let's start with special event vehicles. After the Bugatti Chiron, special event king vehicles no longer offer separate packs from the start that can be purchased with tokens for all players. As a result of this stupid greedy change, thousands of players have not been able to unlock the Koenigsegg Regera, Ferrari LaFerrari Aperta, and McLaren Senna. As for the Zenvo TS1 GT Anniversary, it's going to be the exact same predicament due to it following the exact same formula. No token pack for the special events king, mixed car pack, and a paywall Class C and Class B car. That itself is a discussion I'll touch on separately in this video. On a related note, ad packs for special event vehicles have been removed. Remember when you could watch ad packs to get blueprints for one of the vehicles used in special events? Not a thing anymore, but it needs to be brought back. Those ad packs are what helped me unlock the epic Apollo Nürburgring and stir up numerous other vehicles. As of the King of Fall update, they have thankfully now made several past unleashed vehicles available in garage packs, which naturally includes ads. Tokens. Tokens have been removed from Car Hunt riots and they no longer appear in month-long multiplayer seasons. Why? Bring them back. It's not like they've increased the number of credits, blueprints they give us, so there is absolutely no reason to remove them. And on top of it, knockdowns exist. Talk about a double slap in the face. Relay packs. If my memory serves me correct, the last time I've seen a relay pack was when the Ferrari LaFerrari Aperta had its special event running. As of the Zenvo TS1 GT Anniversary special event, it looks like they brought it back. For good this time? I don't know, but I hope so. We will see what happens when the Pininfarina Battista special event comes. Star requirements in both Unleashed and special events. I do not know whose stupid idea this was, but it should have been scrapped. With this in place, it just makes the gap between newer players and older players even larger. Before, you could get all token rewards during the Unleashed event so long as you knew how to drive well. As of the Tune It Up update, you are forced to have more stars on your vehicles in order to win the higher token rewards. You see, it's because Gameloft would rather you just buy the blueprints with your real cash rather than have you use your skills apparently. In regards to nerf rewards, I'm sure there's potentially many more I missed, but this is all I could think of. Number 4. fuel system. If they insist on keeping this fuel system, Gameloft needs to do it right. Similarly to how event tickets start to refill as soon as you use one, the same needs to be done for the gas cans. Sometimes you forget to fill a particular vehicle, and when you return to the game, you find that it is on its last can. This is especially troublesome for high-end vehicles that take way too damn long to refill. Also, the current number of fuel is way too damn low. The numbers the vehicles currently have should be doubled. 6 canners should increase to 12, 5 canners to 10, 4 canners to 8, and 3 canners 6. Do you have a favorite car or several vehicles you like a lot? I'm sure you do. We all have favorite cars and are obviously playing this game because we like cars a lot. Majority of these vehicles we cannot own in reality due to cost, some of them being out of production, illegal to own in certain countries, and the fact that some of them are not even production vehicles but concepts. Now what good is it to be only able to use some cars just 3 times before being forced to either wait 6 hours or play 6 to 15 minutes worth of ads? That's not cool. It's extremely greedy. People do not play games to watch advertisements and wait around. People play games to have fun. In reality, cars do not deplete of fuel that quickly, nor do they take a tortoise's lifespan to refill. Number 5. Inability to get epic import parts for special event vehicles. Seriously, how hard would it be to put them in the store for 10,000 trade points? Waiting for car hunts or unleashed contests is not fair for numerous reasons. 1. Not everyone gets to reach positions high enough to get their parts. 2. Hackers are very prevalent on some platforms, which can cause honest players to be pushed down in ranks even when they race very well. 3. Car hunt riots and unleashed events for very specific vehicles simply take forever to come around, making it very unfeasible. A particular vehicle I would like to single out is the W Motors Fenner Super Sport. At the time I made this commentary video, I do not even have this thing unlocked. However, there are thousands of other players that do. I have seen some complaints about them being unable to get epic import parts for the W Motors Fenner Super Sport because they keep getting repeated epic import parts for other vehicles they already own. What makes this even worse is that all those other vehicles like the BMW M4 GTS, McLaren P1, and so forth already have their parts available in the Legend store. Why the hell would they churlishly put them in the multiplayer rewards that people have to wait a month long for, only just to get blueprints for something like the Ferrari F12 TDF, which can then only be traded for 100 legally trade points? Nah man, this seriously needs to be changed. Either allow us players to choose the epic import parts for vehicles we need, or even better, make every single vehicle in the game have their epic import parts appear in the Legend store. If it even means to make it 10,000 trade points for Kingly Elite vehicles, so be it. Now while I was writing this video, it was mostly geared in mind with the game in its Tune It Up update state. As of the King of the Fall updates that launched on October 15, 2019, there are now more cars that have their epic import parts available. Unfortunately, the price of Class S epic import parts now costs 15,000, yet the price of trading them has gone from 500 to 100. See what I mean by Gameloft being incapable of doing something nice without doing something nasty at the same time? And while I'm truthfully pleased to see so many past Kings now available in the shop, it still stings me that the W Motors Fenner Super Sport still isn't there. Oh well, at least the Bugatti Chiron is there, but only if you're at garage level 18. Number 5. Tickets. Not enough tickets in daily events. At times, there is as many as 20 events going on. A solution to this would be implementing a similar system to the hazard levels in the Syndicate Drive event. Let special events have their own special tickets that do not deplete the daily tickets, while the regular events can keep the regular ticket system. Number 6. 60 frames per second versus 30 frames per second. There's no option to toggle between 30 FPS or 60 FPS for all devices. I can't speak for Android, but for iOS, 99% of my applications run 60 FPS by default. Why limit this feature to only the iPhone X and newer, Samsung Galaxy S9 family, and Samsung Galaxy Note 9? As Apple and Samsung, coincidentally the two thugs that engage in speed throttling, secretly paying Gameloft an undisclosed amount of money to make the game run on their latest handsets? Seriously, there are several dedicated gaming devices that could beat the batteries out of that selected list. And even for those that aren't dedicated gaming devices, they can run 60 FPS just fine. Now shortly after the King of the Fall update, a community manager responded to someone's thread about 60 FPS and said, adding 60 FPS requires a lot of testing and we need to take into consideration many aspects like balance between graphics quality, real-time physics, input response time, and battery management. However, we are aiming to add more and more devices that support 60 FPS FPS in each update. Okay, so I guess this makes sense, but is there a reason why Gameloft couldn't just give this feature to all users and let them judge for themselves? Like, maybe put a warning in-game that 60 FPS may drain battery, cause overheating and so forth. Consider also opening forums on the Gameloft website where users of various devices can post their feedback rather than leaving up to the staff to test only the latest devices. Not everyone has, can buy, or uses the latest devices. Number 7. The ramps. The ramps are supposed to be a blessing in regards to getting a speed boost, right? Unfortunately, they also happen to be a sword in the anus a lot of the time. How many times have you seen those Asphalt 9 comedy videos or even just regular racing videos where the cars go berserk on the ramps? Too many times to keep track of, eh? With all the updates that have taken place since the launch of the game, you would think that this would have been something there just early, but nope. I guess the Gameloft staff must think it's funny to watch vehicles bounce like basketballs, roll, or move in a completely unintended direction. Now, admittedly, while it is funny to watch it happen to someone else, it's not funny when you have been running a good race that has been ruined by donkey dong physics. Number 8. Ridiculous multiplayer requirements. Why? Why oh why does it take a rating of 3,000 to get into Platinum League and then an even more ridiculous position of 6,500 to get into Legend? Honestly, is Gameloft out of their minds or something? Do they not realize that people have real world priorities? School, post-secondary education, work, children, social times, outdoor recreations, and beyond. Getting to a rating of 3,000 takes quite a bit of work. However, it used to be 2,500, which was very doable. So why did they feel the need to jack it up to 3,000? As for Legend, there used to be seasons where you could get into Legend with a rating of 5,000. Now it's been an absurd 6,500 for the last several seasons. For that reason, I and many other players will almost certainly never get there. Not because we suck, but because we simply don't want to spend so much of our lives on a virtual racing game, no matter how much we like cars. Oh, and the rewards? You must be within the top 3,000 to get a chance to win at least 10 W Motors Fender Super Sports blueprints. On top of that, you have to maintain it by racing every day too, lest you fall behind hundreds of positions. Now tell me, does that sound healthy to you? No, it does not. But wait, it gets even worse. If you wanted a chance to win 40 W Motors Fender Super Sports blueprints, 2 epic import parts, and 1,500,000 credits, you have to be within the top 10. That's right, top 10. No thanks, I'm good. If Gameloft cares about the health and well-being of their players, they must change this. Number 9. Special event paywall cars. I would say the Apollo Nürburgring was the last fair paywall car. Those of you that have been playing since 2018 may say that there were fair opportunities, but the Apollo Nürburgring is the most relevant to me as someone who has been playing since the start of 2019. You see, the Apollo Nürburgring not only had an ad pack that made it easier to obtain its blueprints, but it was also featured in other mixed packs on occasion and even got an Unleashed event right before the start of the pay-to-win McLaren Senna's event. And with the King of the Fall update, you can get it in the shop. Fantastic! Can the same be said for the Mercedes-Benz SLR McLaren, Aston Martin Vantage GT12, and the newly released Porsche 911 GT3 RS? No. While it's supposed to be a good thing that they have their own token packs, the problem is that you also have to buy vehicles with the mix pack that you may not have enough stars for. By the time you've spent enough tokens to get enough stars for them, there's often not enough left for the paywall Class B or C car. To emphasize just how ridiculous this situation is, the Mercedes-Benz SLR McLaren had its paywall token pack released all the way back in June. And guess what? Now it is October and there has not been a single car hunt or Unleashed event for this thing. Not even one. Even the Lamborghini Aventador Yota, which I infamously used to call the Lamborghini Jerk, had an Unleashed event at one point after its release. An elite Class A car. And now, that same jerkish car is available in garage packs. Gameloft ought to give us a car hunt or Unleashed event for each and every single one of these paywall Class B and C cars before the year end. Number 10. Multiplayer hacking. Yes, many of you are probably wondering why this wasn't one of the first things I mentioned in this talk video. Well, I'm discussing it now. And the first thing I would like to say is, how the hell are some players landing on their sides or upside down without wrecking? Are you guys hacking invincibility or something? Also, why is it that some players do not display the poor connection icon until when you try to touch them, they just vanish like a ghost? Some of them even teleport straight ahead or behind you as soon as you get too close. For a very long time, I and many others strongly suspect that some hackers are intelligently using the poor connection as a disguise for their hack. Why? Because according to Gameloft, lag and poor connection can cause vehicles to do wonky things. And for this reason, hackers use this to their advantage to make it trickier to figure out whether they are truly hacking or have bad connection. Honestly, if you truly have bad connection, it is not supposed to make you jump ahead every time someone gets too close to you. You know what the definition of lag is? To fall behind in movement. Keyword, fall behind, not speed up. It should not also cause you to vanish just so players can pass through you or more so you can knock them down in your ghostly state. Something seriously needs to be done about hacking. Like how computing operating systems often perform security checks during boot, Gameloft needs to implement a similar security check that scans a player's application for use of any sort of cheat or modification. This needs to be a serious priority. It is honestly mind-boggling that this wasn't something they thought about before even launching the game. Hacking not only hurts players but also takes profits away from employees too. Or perhaps the hackers haven't stolen enough resources to affect Gameloft's profits, based on the way they have been carelessly ignoring the frequent complaints about this. Now look, I am aware of the problem that there is a serious issue with too many players falsely accusing others simply because the lag looks like cheating. And I agree, people should not be abusing reports until they are 100% certain that a player cheated. I am also aware that the replay mode is not reliable, hence why players should opt to record their multiplayer sessions for better accuracy. That said, you cannot and should not blame all multiplayer abnormalities on lag. By doing this, you only guard the cheaters, which hurts everyone. All in all, this problem will require two major implementations. 1. Servers that have everyone racing in sync with one another. Number 2, as already mentioned, an in-game application system that scans a player's application for any form of modification during Asphalt 9's boot up. And yes, Gameloft does have the resources to do this. All they need to do is prioritize and commit to it. Number 11. In-game engine sounds. Alright, so to be completely honest, this is not a major ruining issue. Most people just mute them in favor of music. Others, such as myself, would rather hear the natural acoustics, even if it's not that great. Make it better, Gameloft. You know it sucks, and that you have done a very lazy job with it. That's why whenever you do these promotional videos with the cars, you use an alternate engine sound to cover it up, only to have people point in the comment section that the vehicle does not sound like that in game. I know it's not feasible to get the exact acceleration and downshift sounds for every vehicle. For some vehicles, it's straight up impossible because they're not even production vehicles that have been tested. So what can be done about this? They can make vehicles with the same engine from the same family share the same sound. Let's take Lamborghini for an example. Lamborghini Centenario, Aventador Super Veloce Coupe, and Aventador Iota all use a V12 engine. Therefore, they can make those three vehicles share the same noises. For concept vehicles or vehicles that have never been heard, they can get appropriately creative. Meaning, don't make the Lamborghini Terzo Millennio sound like a tea kettle that's been hybridized with a vacuum. So, those are the 11 things that are ruining Asphalt 9 for me. Lottery, speed corruption, multiplayer knockdowns, nerf rewards, fuel system, inability to get epic import parts for some vehicles, not enough tickets in daily events, lack of an option to toggle between 30 FPS to 60 FPS for all devices, cursed ramps, unhealthy multiplayer requirements, special event paywall cars, multiplayer hacking, and the in-game engine sounds. Now I know some of you are probably going to be like, geez, that's pretty much everything we hate about it. Or you will agree with me and think that this video is spot on. Now for the ultimate question. Why do I bother playing a game that has been clearly made by trolls for it to have this many faults plus a proven past record of straight up trollery? Well, if you want to play a mobile car game that has licensed vehicles with great racetracks and amazing graphics, there is little, if any, other option. You see, Asphalt 9 Legends has the potential to be the best racing game ever. However, Gameloft has been negligent with a number of frequently reported complaints while yet expecting people to spend real money on this game. It doesn't work like that. You don't ignore your customers and then expect them to continue paying for your service. Or in this case, playing. While I understand they cannot please everyone, they should at least address the issues that have been frequently brought up, which should be nearly everything, if not all of the issues mentioned in this video. The only notable exception would perhaps be the in-game engine sound. While it would be nice to have better sounds, it certainly does not need to be a priority. On a more positive note, I do acknowledge that we have been getting far more car hunts lately, which is good for both new and old players alike. And while Class S epic import parts have skyrocketed to 15,000 trade points, it is amazing to see that vehicles like the Koenigsegg Regera, Bugatti Chiron, and Lamborghini Terzo Millennio have been added. Yes, you have read the last one right. Somebody confirmed that at level 17, you can buy both its epic import parts and blueprints. For me, this is a major gain. It allows newer players to finally get a fair shot at obtaining powerhouse vehicles while allowing older ones to upgrade their machines without waiting forever for Unleashed events or specific car hunts. I also love how they have been releasing more pure electric vehicles lately. The Tune-It-Up update brought the Arteaga Scala Super Electra, and the recent King of the Fall update brought not only the Vanda Electric Dendrobium, but also the Pininfarina Battista. Yeah, that was a vehicle I requested in my top 10 video, so it's amazing to see that they actually brought it into the game. Now, did you like this video? Yes, I know it was long like a reticulated python, but I think you made it, right? Comment, rate, like, subscribe, share, read my blog for information, shop my affiliate links in the video description, and visit my Twitter page for my latest tweets, and do not forget to also participate in the poll located at the top right corner inside the eye circle. And for that poll, the question will be, be what's ruining Asphalt 9 most for you? Lottery seed corruption, multiplayer knockdowns, nerfed rewards, the fuel system, or other? I know we want to say everything mentioned in this video, but for the purpose of this poll, just choose one. Actually, you know what? Maybe you can choose other for that reason if you really want to say all of the above. Now, even though the discussion is over at this point, I have opted to leave the full length of this recording intact as opposed to trimming it to match the length of this voiceover. You're free to run along at this point, or you can enjoy the remainder of the show.